County. This is Mr. Potter. One of the best things about dealing with editing pictures is the idea that we can take part of a picture and put it onto another picture. So if you've looked through the PictureLab folders, you'll notice that you have one folder that contains pictures, and these are the pictures that we've been dealing with throughout our activities. So you see the swan that we were doing in our last lesson with our edge detection. You can see the caterpillar that we were doing when we were copying pixels from one side to the other. This is the temple that we were repairing, and I mean, lots of different things that we can do with these. So you'll notice that I also have this picture up here. This picture up here is really a 640 by 480 pixel image that's just plain white. And so I can basically use this as a template to add things to. So if I wanted to, I could kind of use this as the foundation of any picture. And we're going to talk today about how to add things to a particular picture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and minimize this. I'm going to go to our picture class. There's two things that I want to look at. Number one is this notion of copying a picture. And what this will do is this will take some picture and we're going to copy the pixels from that picture to our picture at a particular starting row and at a particular starting column. So I see I've got this from pixel and to pixel, which we're going to be copying from an image to another image. We're going to be getting pixels 2D by using from ourselves and also from a source. This is our from pic that we were dealing with. So we're going to get an array of 2 pixels and an array of from pixels. And what we're going to do is we're going to go row by row, column by column, and copy those images from our from image to our destination. So you'll notice here is our for loop, and it looks really long. And I kind of want to talk about what's going on here because a lot's going on here. One is the fact that we really have two initializations. I have from row with starting at 0 and to row is starting at our parameter start row. Because we're going to be copying the entirety of some picture. So we're going to be starting at row 0 of that picture, but we're not going to be copying it to row 0 of our picture. We're going to be copying it to the start row of our picture. And we're going to keep going as long as we still have rows in our picture and we still have rows in our destination. In other words, what we're copying from and what we're copying to still have rows to go through. If one of them runs out, I want to stop the copy process, because basically I've run off the bottom of my image. And then I'm going to go through and iterate twice. So this loop is interesting that it has two initializations and two iterations. And I mean, technically we have two tests, but it's really just one test with an AND statement. So keep in mind, just like we can declare variables using the comma to separate, like if I wanted to declare 3 ints, I could put commas between them. I can do the same thing with this initialization and this iteration for my for loop. Now I'm doing the exact same thing for my rows and my columns. I'm starting my from column at 0 because I want to start copying my original image from column 0. But the destination is going to be at some predetermined start column. In other words, I'm going to be copying to a particular place. And again, as long as I have columns left to copy, we're going to copy them, and we are iterating. So what I do is I get my from pixel. This is the pixel at that row and column of my original picture. And then I find the pixel at my target, and I have my 2 pixel set its color to whatever the from pixel's color is. Now we've seen this before when we were doing our reflections, when we were reflecting from one side to the other. What makes it different here is that we're reflecting from one picture to another picture. But the process is exactly the same. The only thing that's different is that I'm getting my from pixel from one array matrix, and I'm getting my 2 pixel from another matrix. So this is my copy method, and the idea is that I'm going to be copying some picture from starting position, some starting row, some starting column in my destination. Now I'm always going to be starting at 0, 0 in my original picture, but my row and column in my destination are going to change. And so we've got this create collage. So I'm going to be copying 2 different types of pictures. I've got flower 1 and flower 2. Flower 1 is going to be loading flower1.jpg. Flower 2 is going to be copying from flower2.jpg. So in our folder, this is the flower 1 and this is the flower 2. It's really easy to distinguish between them. One's a pretty wide flower, it's a 4-leaf clover type, and one is a 5-pointed star type. And we're going to be copying those onto the destination that we had talked about before, that blank slate, that 640 by 480 image. So notice I'm copying flower 1 at 0, 0. That's row 0, column 0. So flower 1 is going to be in the upper left-hand corner of our destination. Flower is going to be 100 rows below that. So 100 pixels below that. Then we're going to go back to flower 1, and it's going to be 200 below that. And then we have this flower no blue, which we talked about the zero blue method in our very first lesson, how to get rid of all of the blue in an image. And so we're going to have this flower no blue, which is going to be at 300 rows. Then we're going to have flower 1 at 400 rows and flower 2 at 500 rows. We're probably not going to see this because that 640 by 480 only has 480 rows. So in actuality, this flower is going to get cut off. And then we got the mirror vertical, which is going to copy the left side to the right side. We did this in our either second or third lesson here. And then we're actually going to create a file. We're going to create an image called collage.jpg. So if I go ahead and run this, we're going to go ahead and run this and see how this looks. And so what happens is here's that flower 1. Here's the flower 2. Here's back to flower 1. And then here's the no blue. Notice if I click anywhere on here, I'm going to notice that the blue pixel has been changed to 0. And then here is flower 1 again. This is the one that started at 400. Notice this flower started at 0, 0. This is at 100, 0. This is at 200, 0. This is at 300, 0. This is at 400, 0. And I don't see the picture that was at 500, 0. But then we copy this over. Remember, we have this line down the middle that acts as a reflection. And we're copying this over to here. That's why these are mirror images of each other. Similarly, these are mirror images, and over here, my no blue again is a mirror image of the no blue that I had over here. So I have this ability to copy from one picture to another picture. And if I go to my image folder, you'll notice here is that collage.jpg. If I go ahead and open this up, this is the collage.jpg that we just saved. So in other words, we have the ability to write to a file as well, which makes this pretty interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tweak this a little bit, because I have a couple of images here that I would like to copy. One image that I have is the moon. And so I've got this moon surface here. This moon's nice surface. But the rocks on the moon, they're this white, crusty stuff. It looks a lot like snow. And then I've got this other image over here called snowman, which, snowmen tend to be made of snow. I'm actually going to see if I can, let me edit this real quick. Do a real quick paint job on here. And I'm going to not do that. I'm going to select using some field here, and I'm just going to crop this, and then I'm going to go ahead and save this as I do file, save as, and we'll actually call this call him Frosty. So here's frosty.jpg, and I want to copy him and put him on the moon. So now that I have Frosty taken care of, and notice I should, let me refresh this, so I should be able to see Frosty. There's Frosty right here. I want to copy Frosty and put him on the moon, because the crystals of the moon look a lot like snow crystals. So we're going to create a method called public void snow moon, and we're going to say picture Frosty gets new picture frosty.jpg, and then we're going to do this dot copy, and I want to copy Frosty at let's say 100. We'll see where that shows up. And we'll do this dot right, and we'll say Frosty on the moon dot jpg, and then we're going to call on this snow moon method. Let me save and compile this. There we go. And we'll go to our picture tester, and we'll take a look at our test collage here. We're going to copy almost all of this. And we're going to basically call upon our snow moon method that we created. So we've got our canvas. We're going to say test snow moon. And what we're going to do is we're going to do canvas dot snow moon, and then canvas dot explores. But I don't want this to be picture. I want this to be, what's that called? That file is called, go to my desktop and my PictureLab and my images. Yeah, it's called moon-surface. So we're going to, instead of this being 640 by 480, we're going to say this is moon-surface. .jpg. So we're going to compile this, and cannot find symbol. What's wrong? Canvas.snowmoon. Did I spell that wrong? Yeah, needs to be a capital M. Our Java conventions need to be taken care of here. So now we should be able to run this with no major issues. And we didn't change our main method. We need to make sure we change our main method. So we're going to test snowmoon. So let's comment this out. And we're going to test snowmoon. And run this. And here's our snowman on the moon. Now, I put him 100, 100, and that's probably not a good place to put him. We probably should put him over here so he's not, messing up this view of the wonderful space station that we have. So we're going to put him over here. So let's see. This probably be where the corner is, so about 230 and 400. So let's try that instead. Let's go back to our picture.java, and we'll put him at row 230, column 400, with no J, of course. We'll save, we'll compile, and then we'll run our big picture again. And here's our snowman on the moon. And it's real nice because it looks kind of like that part of the crater coincides very well with the snow horizon here. That's a beautiful picture. And if I go over here to my images folder, I should see, where is it? Oh, we didn't save it. We need to make sure we save that file as well. I gotta save that beautiful artwork. So remember that we save it by using this dot write. So we're going to do this dot write. No, it should say Frosty on the moon. I thought we did save it. Let's see. Do we have Frosty on the moon? Frosty on the moon. There he is, right there. That beautiful artwork. I want to save that. I want to print that out and post it on my refrigerator door. That's beautiful. So the idea of being able to copy pixels from one picture onto another picture is really one of the things that allows us to make images pop. It's one of the main reasons that we do Photoshop, to kind of combine images, and it really does help us to understand what's going on in the images. Probably the most interesting part of today's lesson is this loop that we really haven't seen before. This idea that a loop can have two initializations Basically declaring two variables. And as long as either of those variables are in the OK range, we're going to iterate both of them. Because we really do need these variables kind of running in parallel. The from row going from row 0 of my original picture to row X of my original picture, and the to row going from some starting row to start row plus X in my destination picture, and columns as well. So, once again, this is Mr. Potter. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.